Alright, we do this every time, buddy. Alright, see you later. Hi, hello. So today I come to you guys from a different filming spot. We are still in my room, but I decided to change things up and move back to sitting by my bookshelf. So today we are going to be doing a reading wrap up so far of 2019. I figure it's easier to do it that way than to do every month, because sometimes I read 5 books a month, sometimes I read half a book. It could really go either way. But I have 8 books to talk about that I have read in the first 2.5 months of 2019, which is shocking to me. So the first book I read this year is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. So I read this book, obviously it was the first book I read of the year, and I read it over winter break because I took a American Gothic class last semester. We read We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and at the same time the Netflix series premiered, so I really wanted to watch the Netflix series even though I'm terrified of it. Haven't gotten around to it yet because I wanted to read this first. If you follow me on my book Instagram, I talked a little bit about how I didn't really think this was scary in the beginning, because it's a really slow beginning, but it literally kicks off so fast. For the last like 50-60 pages of the book, I was shook, and the ending was definitely not what I was expecting, so I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited and interested to see what they do with the Netflix series. Next, I read a book that I had meant to get to in 2018, but I didn't, and that was Trials of Apollo, The Burning Maze, book 3 in the Trials of Apollo series, which is the sequel series to the Heroes of Olympus, which is the sequel series to the Percy Jackson series, basically. Rick Riordan books always rip my heart out, so I was very prepared for it, and I somehow managed to avoid spoilers for like 6 months. I don't know how I managed, like book Twitter just wasn't talking about this book, and I read it over winter break, and I cried my eyes out because someone dies in this book, and it wasn't who I was expecting to die, and I'm really upset, and I'm really hoping that somehow they're gonna come back in the last 2 books because I'm angry. The third book I read this month is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This book was incredible. Basically, pretty much everyone knows about Caraval, but it is a story of 2 sisters who have always wanted to travel to this island where they do like this game. It's like a magical Hunger Games, but it's not the Hunger Games, but it's like a real, like you actually participate in the games and they mess with your mind, but you're not really supposed to die, but things happen. So many twists and turns. Also, it was a slow read for me in the beginning, but I did the last 200 pages in one sitting because it really picked up. So I'm really excited to pick up the next book and see where the series goes. And then we went into the booktube games, and the first book I finished for the booktube games was Obsidium, which is the 3rd book in the Illuminae trilogy, and you guys, this was mind-blowing. This trilogy has been one of my favorites of all time, but I'm really pleased with how this came out, and I'm really pleased with the ending, and I was shook with the ending. And this is a really fast read because of the different ways, like the files and the drawings and the security cam footage that we read about. It goes so fast, so I did this book in about 2 days. Then I read Champion by Marie Lu. This is the 3rd book in the Legend trilogy. I read the first 2 last year, and so I finally got around to the 3rd one. This was such a satisfying ending. I was a little nervous at first with the way it was going. It was incredible, and the epilogue was amazing, and I heard there's like a 4th book. So Rebel is the 4th book that's coming out. It's like the sequel to the trilogy that's coming out in October, so I'm so excited. That's definitely one of my most anticipated reads. I'm gonna add that to my Goodreads list right now while I'm thinking about it. Then I read Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, and this book was the cutest thing I have ever read in my life. I very rarely like contemporary romance novels because I hate insta-love, and unfortunately a lot of contemporary romances have that. This does not. It's beautiful. It did move a little fast for me, but not too fast. The primary focus of this book is Lena's journey to finding out the mystery of like why her mom wanted her to go to Italy. And there's so many plot twists in this story. The romance, it just builds with the story, and it's like an added factor. The book would be just fine without it, but it was just like a nice added bonus. It's definitely one of my new favorite contemporaries, which is exciting because I haven't had a favorite contemporary since Fangirl, and that was a few years ago, so this is exciting. And then I read one of my most anticipated reads for 2019, which is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. You guys, this book is so good. I was an emotional wreck reading this. I mean, I'm always an emotional wreck reading anything in the Grisha universe. So basically, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, which are right here. Like one of my favorite duologies of all time. The Grisha trilogy, I like it. It's not the greatest, but I like it. There's elements of both of those in King of Scars, which I loved. Look at this cover, you guys. This cover is incredible. And the last book I have to talk about is a book that I can't find. So I think I left it at school. I could have sworn I brought it home, but it's not here. So I'm guessing it's at school still on my shelf. And that is Ruined by Amy Tintera. That book has been on my TBR for like the past 5 years. And I finally got to it. Has it even been out for 5 years? I don't know. For a very long time. A fantasy novel about a girl who infiltrates this royal family because she wants revenge on who killed like her family basically, and she ends up falling in love with the prince. And you know, I mean, I'm a sucker for high fantasy, and the enemies to friends to lovers is like one of my favorite tropes of all time. So this was no surprise that I would fall in love with this book, and I'm so excited to read the next book. I just have to get it. And that is it for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!